Welcome to a special edition of Chatting with Wisdom. So, we are here sharing over the next, from now until the 23rd, I believe, which is next Friday, sharing the wisdom and the connections with all of our speakers who are coming in that are going to bring great joy and wisdom and that support that we need. And so, for those of you who are not familiar with our conference, this is our 7th annual Women Inspiring Women Conference. And this year, the theme is the power of self-love. And the topics, every year, I'm always amazed by the topics that we actually have. And this year, I am just dumbfounded with how incredible everything is coming together in terms of those connections. We always start with a theme, and we never choose what people are going to be talking about. Is like, here's the theme, you let us know what it is that you're talking about, and being able to bring that together. And every year I am just blown away by how everybody that is supposed to come in together and bringing everything together. And so over the last few days, I have been working through the program, figuring out who's speaking where and how everything is flowing together. And it's just like, this one ties into this one, and this one ties into this one, and this one ties into this one. And how we came up with the agenda was being able to speak with or like when everybody was available to speak, because this is global and we have people from around the world. So depending on where we are, so we're in Eastern time. I believe you're in Eastern too, I think, right, Elizabeth?
Today I'm in Eastern time.
Oh, today, okay.
Eastern or Central when we're actually doing the conference.
So it's incredible. So tell me a little bit about, so where are you from, and where are you, like kind of where do you flop back and forth? So let's start with that.
I'm Elizabeth Power, and I'm the founder of the Trauma Informed Academy, but I'm so much more than that. That's just the way that we do the work we do on a day-to-day basis. My home base is Nashville, Tennessee. Today I'm coming to you from Newberry, South Carolina, where my sister lives, who I'm helping out, and I'm spending some time down here working in the Carolinas. And I have to tell you, this is going to be the most amazing conference ever. Just amazing. I was talking to some folks I was working with this morning about it and saying, it's the first time I've been invited to participate, or that I knew about it. And I wish I had known the other 6 years, and it's all perfect. And they said, well, what are you going to talk about? I said, well, disruption, intuition, innovation, how these things relate to trauma, and why it's so important to look at those when you are casting a new story to move beyond yourself as a victim. And when you move into self-love, and how self-love is about saying, you may choose to define me way, and that is not who I am. I do not define myself the way you do. How can I build the self that I'm building in a way that is healthy and helpful and honors all of who I am and all of who the universe has made me to be?
And that is so beautiful. And so it just really encapsulates what it is that we're doing during this conference. And so the first 3 years of our conferences have been in person in our small communities. And it's been like super powerful. It was very limited to the number of people that were there in terms of the interactions. And then when COVID happened and we had to, like, the world shut down, it was like, what am I going to do? We're going into our 4th annual and I don't want to cancel this. Like, how am I going to do this? I'm like, okay, I'm jumping on the virtual bandwagon and let's see where it goes. And it was like, I was just so afraid that we were going to lose that ability of being able to connect with people and being able to have the opportunity for women to be able to still connect with each other, because the most powerful part of the conference is, of course, the speakers bring their knowledge and their experience, but the most powerful part of the conference is being able to have the women who are participating actively participating in sharing where they're coming from and what's going on, and that connection with each other, and being able to understand where the others are coming from. And that is the most powerful part of the conference. And oftentimes I hear people say all the time, oh, there's a summit that's happening. It's like, this is not a summit. Like, by no means is it a summit, because it is so interactive.
Yes. And it has to be, because when you think about the fact that we as women hold up half the sky, The connections we have are three-dimensional, four-dimensional, interwoven, spherical, carried on, connected, and connected. Somebody said to me when the pandemic hit, oh my God, I don't like doing virtual stuff. I can't read people's expressions. And I said, honey, I don't mean to be tacky, but if your grandchildren are living off planet, this is how you'll communicate. And so learning how to extend our energy across great distances through this medium is probably the best thing we can figure out for the future. But I have to say that it's all about the relationships, and that's what you're doing such a masterful job of weaving.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And so, and I know that that was one of the things that you had shared in our, because we have a speaker group chat that we have going on, and that was one of the things that you shared, and that communication is so important to me. And so, making sure that everybody knows this is where I'm at, this is what's going on, and at the very beginning, I had to share that I had a death in December that put me back in terms of like where it is that I needed to be able to be and what I needed to be able to do. And so being able to get everybody together and getting all the things done so that we can actually still launch on yesterday based on our early bird, because I wanted to make sure that we actually put things on for people. And so this year the conference is because this is an 8-year. So like for anybody who understands some of the numerology, I am not a numerology expert by no means, but I know how powerful that the 8 is in terms of, so 2024 being 8. And so that's one of the things that I did with our pricing this year is I readjusted our pricing specifically because I wanted that energy to be within the conference as well.
Right.
And so there's like a rollback of prices specifically because of that. So, but that is just one of the things that, so like the VIP is $108 regularly, and the regular is $88. So like those are the 8 numbers, and but for the early bird is that the VIP is only $88 and
That's
$77 for the, and this is Canadian for anybody who is using US dollars. You're already getting an extra discount on top of that because I work in that Canadian dollar function. And so like it's just that incredible piece of just being able to bring that energy and having the power of all of our women coming together and being part of all of this. And we have the breakout sessions and so tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're going to be talking about, Elizabeth.
Well, you know, like almost every woman I know, if not every woman, including the ancestors and those who come after us, my life has been filled with some things that have overwhelmed me to the point that I've thought I might die or lose my mind or be badly injured. And that's what trauma is. And there were a number of years when I let that run my life, as many of us tend to do. But as I began to grow into my own and work with different, actually women who helped me see the power that I have and began to focus on how much I was valued and beloved in the world, I began to find that there were 3 things that fed my healing. One was the development of my intuition and the willingness to suspend my ego in the process, because intuition allows me to connect with all that is in a powerful way in terms of communication. But with intuition comes disruption. Things change, things happen. We don't know what's going to be next. And with that comes the fodder, FODDER, for innovation, for looking at things differently and looking at things anew from a different perspective. And when I began to befriend those things in my life, I began to find that I was, well, frankly, I was much more powerful, even though my surname is Power, than I thought I was, and that I had the ability to transform and transmute all of the things that had happened to me that I so despised into compost and food for my growth and healing and my ability to be of service to others. And it's been so remarkable because it allows me to do things that don't make sense. I started out as a shoe repairer, as a cobbler. And the work I've done is now used on every continent except Antarctica, because it is work that is good and solid and present focused and strength based and collaborative. It feeds into what our mothers, and I mean that with a capital M, taught us, what the mothers want us to be doing with each other and for each other. It's anti-colonizing just in its nature.
Yeah.
But I also have the privilege and the challenge of teaching in very structured institutions like medical schools, where folks are not so accustomed to this roundness that I'm talking about.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And so, and these are the types of things that are coming together. And so like there are some topics that are going to be shared that make me feel a little uncomfortable, but that's because of my own trauma. And so it'll be really interesting to see how all of this comes together. So really
Yes.
looking forward to having everyone join us and being part of this journey. And so we've gone a little bit over the 10 minutes. So anybody who was listening on TikTok has just been cut off, but I don't want to cut off this message because I think that what it is that you're saying is just so important, that we have this connection and that we have this ability of being able to be our authentic selves and figuring out who we are authentically, right? So so our trauma doesn't have to define us. And so most of the women who I know and that I've worked with have experienced trauma in some form or another. And so, and sometimes we don't recognize it as trauma. And so like that's the other piece that's also really important. And so I love the fact that that's one of the things that you're doing, is normalizing that word that we all put into this burner of like, oh my gosh, I can't have trauma because then something must be wrong with me, right?
Right.
So I really love that piece.
You know, actually something happened to you, and that's much more powerful than something being wrong with you. But translating something happened to you to something wrong with you is very much a product of industrialized medicine.
Yes,
I better
absolutely.
quit
And
now.
so
I'm getting radical.
and so, and that's one of the things that we're going to be seeing is like all of these authentic conversations. And one of the things that I say to people all the time is take what you need and leave the rest. But we have women who have actually participated in all seven of, or are participating in all seven, but have participated in all six. And they have seen, and they're like, oh, I don't know about doing this whole thing virtually the same as I did. And so they are really going to be, and that's one of the things that has been remarkable. And so in the last 4 years, I have not been the person who is chosen, who is speaking live and who is not speaking live. It has been a little committee that we have. And so that is who has chosen which speakers are going to be speaking live and which ones are not. And it makes it a really difficult conversation because there's nobody that they don't want to have speaking live. And so it's really incredible to be able to find this small group of women who then look, and I don't put my input in. So I give no input at all because it really is for the women, and I don't want it to be my input. I put my input in the rest of the weekend. So I share my own input and my own ideas and thoughts and feelings. But like in terms of like where do the women want things coming forward is this conversation. And so I love the fact that that's what it is that you're going to be doing and sharing and bringing forward, to being able to bring this knowledge and being authentic. And one of the things that I shared before we went live is you can't get any more authentic than being in the backseat of my car from my grandson's car seat. Um, so it's like we unexpectedly had to travel, and so we are here with like very limited internet service and connection, and so long as we don't move, we're good. But just being able to do that, and so but just being here and being authentic. And this is the type of weekend that we are actually going to see, is everyone who is here. And so Clark is my grandson, so there's a message that just popped up that says Clark's watching, and hey baby Clark, Nookum loves you so much. And so he has been on my pride and joy for the last since March last year. I am missing his first birthday, so his birthday is March 9th. But because the conference is so important to me, I was not changing the date because International Women's Day falls on March 8th every year. And so, unfortunately, I can't be there on his birthday, but I get an entire week off the week after his birthday. So I get to spend so much more time with him the week following. But he loves listening to his Nookum. So I love every moment with him and love being able to spend any moment that I can with him.
He's
So
so
I beautiful. So I love it, and it's amazing. So is there anything else that you want to share before we head out?
I want to say to all the women who might be seeing this and all the men who have women that they could tell about this, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. It's the opportunity to come together with women of great power from all over the world, whose wisdom and knowledge and skills are so superior to so many different things. And I don't mean that in a overwin, I just mean phenomenal. Please join us because we need you and the world needs you and we need each other. And thank you for putting this together and for being a part of it. May the number 8 flipped on its side, which is the infinity sign, bring you great wisdom and blessing for the rest of this year.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And so one of the things that I want to add is and because I often get asked can men join? And so in our when we were doing this physically, we did have men join. But since we've been doing virtual, we have not had men join, and men are always welcome. And it's to be able to help us to work with us to be able to hold space for women. So men are definitely welcome to come and join and be part of this journey and be part of the healing and whatever it is that we need to come up with. And so beautiful. So thanks so much. And so, Mr. Clark, if you're still watching, Nikum loves you, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is my Wednesday that I get to spend with my Clark. Every Wednesday afternoon is my blocked off time that I get to spend with him. So I love every moment that I get to spend with him, and I'm thankful that Brooklyn allows me to be able to be part of his life as much as I am. So many blessings to all of you, and and I'm so excited, Elizabeth, to be able to have you as part of our team for this year.
Thank you. I'm so honored that I was chosen, and thank you for letting me in.
Beautiful. So on that note, we will see everyone soon, and I will be back on tomorrow with another one of our speakers. And but if you have not yet registered, please register. You do not want to miss this opportunity. Bye for now.